Hello and welcome to the Trading Mindset Podcast. My name's Nilton Fernandez, and on our podcast we look to talk to traders that have educated themselves to successfully trade the markets today. As you know, this can be a tough gig for anyone starting out, but we look to get inside the minds of these successful traders and understand the strategies that they use, the morning rituals or morning routines that they follow, and how they trade upon the economic news. We also have much more.
Hello, and my name is Louise Nonwheeler. I am the co-host of the Trading Mindset Podcast. I am a multi-award-winning clinical hypnotherapist and life coach, and I specialize in working with financial traders on their psychology of trading. In this podcast, we talk to traders about their emotions that they experience, the challenges that they face on a daily basis, and the techniques that they have used that have really helped them to get from where they are to becoming profitable traders.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Trading Mindset Podcast. My name's Nilton Fernandez and I'm joined by my lovely co-host Louise Nonwheeler. How you doing, Louise?
I'm very well, thank you, Nilton. How are you doing?
Yes, very well. Busy week this week with work and trading, but looking forward to winding down for Christmas as it's only around the corner. So yeah, looking forward to that. How about yourself?
Sounds good. Exactly the same, winding down for Christmas and just looking forward to a nice break, lots of good food, but at the same time working with traders and yeah, things are good.
Good. So today's guest is the trading health coach, and he is Josh Abernethie, who works with successful traders on lifestyle, healthy eating habits, and just improving their overall performance in terms of, being able to handle the stresses of trading the financial markets. And yeah, let's get him on the show. How you doing, Josh?
Hi, Josh.
Hello.
How's
Hello.
things, Josh?
Yeah, good.
So just to go into it a little bit more, Josh, how did this come about? I mean, how is it specified for around traders?
So how it came about was where I come from. I'm a health and fitness coach. That's where I'm rooted to. In the pandemic, I started learning about trading like quite a lot of other people did because they were at home a lot and people were looking, I think a lot of people were looking at these other ways of making money when the pandemic came, because it sort of like made you realize that having multiple sources of income is like a good and quite important thing in this day and age, I think.
Yeah.
And from there, going through the whole process of learning, losing a bit of money, getting stressed, the psychology, being glued to a screen for 15 hours a day, trying to master the market and all this sort of stuff. The longer that I done it and went through my learning process, I realized that it's not about a strategy and then everything just becomes easy after that. It's very similar to what Louise does, but really focusing on your lifestyle, gearing yourself up for being able to handle stress, being able to look after your health, being able to consume the right nutrition so your brain is functioning at its best capability. And simple stuff like actually being active and getting away from screens and stuff like that. So it's not 100% pinpointed just on traders. This can be for anybody who has a stressful job, who is working in front of screens all day. But because of my passion for trading, I've just dived straight into helping people who are faced by those challenges.
That
Okay,
sounds
cool.
interesting. Sounds interesting. So if you don't mind me asking, Josh, a trader contacts you. I know you just mentioned that you work with sort of people from all walks of life, but if a trader contacts you, what happens from there? How do you work together one-to-one?
So how it works is generally on a remote basis, because you generally don't have very many traders in the same town as you. If you're not living in central London, where I live in Gibraltar, there are quite a lot of traders, but generally it is a remote service. What I really like to do is develop solid relationships with people. So if somebody contacts me, there isn't a process necessarily that they go through that's black and white. It's about getting to know each other and getting to understand their challenges. And then from that, I then go away and I start putting together a actionable plan for them, essentially. And then we're in communication all the time to ensure that they're doing it. And how I get the results and ensure that they do it is through various technology. So through apps and through video communication, essentially.
Okay. In terms of obviously you're a health coach and life coach.
Yeah.
So if a trader says to you, I'm busy, I'm trading some very big accounts, do you recommend them certain foods? I know we spoke before we went live on the podcast, and you mentioned that there's certain foods that you can eat to sustain, being on the computer screen for X amount of hours. Is that something that you tell them straight away? Right. Okay, let's have a look at your diet. Let's see what you can change and what can be brought in to benefit you while working for long times at the screen.
Yeah. So I've got like my own methods that have worked with many people. And I tell you what, it's not with nutrition and stuff like that. It's very individual as well. What can work for some people sometimes doesn't work for the other person, you know? So it's a complicated thing about their lifestyle and the time of day that they're eating, the amount of food they're eating, and then what foods they are eating. So I always start from the bottom up. I never just start recommending people to start consuming certain foods straight away. It's about understanding what their eating habits are and then ensuring that they're eating the right amount of food and at the right times. And then we start diving. Once we've got that, it's like a process you got to go through. So once you've got that, then you want to start really honing in on macronutrients. And what macronutrients are, guys, if the listeners don't know, so that's just your basic like carbohydrates, your proteins and your fats. Then when they're consuming the right amounts and the right portions of those, then you start honing in on the micronutrients, which is your vitamins and your minerals and certain foods after that.
How long does it take before you start seeing like the effects of being able to sustain long periods of time at a screen and, stress levels being reduced by the way that you eat?
How long?
If I said to you, okay, look, I want to take some action. I'm in a stressful job and I want to change my eating, the way I eat to help me benefit when trading.
Yeah.
And I followed it down to a T. When could I sort of start expecting to see sort of good results? And
Do you know what, Milton? Because there's so many things with your lifestyle that affect you in so many different ways.
Yeah.
That is a very difficult thing to measure.
Okay.
You can only measure it as a whole. And what I mean by that is it's not just nutrition that I focus on and go, here's the magic diet. You are now going to be like that guy off of the Limitless movie. It'd be brilliant if you could. It'd be brilliant if you could just pick some food groups and go, you know what, like I'll just eat these. I can now trade like at peak performance every single day. I'm not going to become tired. I'm not going to become stressed and all that. Louise can probably agree with me on this. There's so many different factors that come into play.
Absolutely, of course. There is, Josh. There's a person's lifestyle, DNA. I mean, there's so many different factors, how high their stress levels are. But I mean, generally, how long do you work with people, Josh? Or does it, it sounds like what you're doing is very sort of specialized and tailored to each individual, which is fantastic. But how long, roughly, do you work with people?
A minimum 3 months.
Right.
Because it's about building new habits and stuff like that. So you could give somebody a gym program, you could give somebody a list of like what their morning routine needs to look like, and here's what foods you need to be eating. But implementing that over time is the hard part, and that's where I come in. Basically, it's about managing your life to then develop positive habits. And positive habits aren't something that you can just go, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m, I'm going to meditate, I'm then going to eat the perfect breakfast, then I'm going to go out for a jog, then I'm going to stand there and I'm going to cook myself a superfood salad. That would be perfect if you could just give that to somebody and go, there you go. But they will crumble within the first 2 weeks if you've done that. So what you need to do, it's like layering one after the other, putting out fires of finding out where people are going wrong in certain things, because it's about continuing to hold healthy habits when you are in periods of time in your life when you're stressed and stuff like that. And you cannot coach somebody through that until they actually start going through it, if you understand what I mean.
Absolutely. It's interesting you say that, because there's strong evidence to prove that it takes a minimum of 21 days to create new habits and behaviors. And I know that myself, working with traders for many years, but I guess you sort of find the same thing, that in the first few weeks, you're going to see people or clients that are going to, like you said, crumble or lose momentum or motivation. How do you help them with that, Josh?
Exactly. So that is where then I come in. I can give you all the bells and whistles. I can be speaking to you all the time. It's just when the challenges arise, that's when then I come in and help you steer around them and remain on track. So it's just trying to get them to lean on other things when they're stressed rather than the things that are negative. So, Nilton, when you're really stressed, I know you've been working with Louise, so I imagine you're really zen when it comes to stress and stuff now.
Yeah.
But before you were working with Louise, when you, say, would have a bad day at work and then you came home and, say, a couple of trades wouldn't work out, what would you do?
Yeah, I used to be, get myself really down about it, obviously with the trading and stuff. And my stress levels were, through the roof due to my
Yeah.
job. So for me, the best thing was just to go out and walk the dog and
Yeah.
just get myself out, because being at home, just looking at trades that didn't work out when it should have, you can never predict the markets. But when you've done everything correct and it hasn't worked out in your favor, it sends you, your stress levels through the roof. So yeah, for me, definitely just going out and just unwinding and getting away from it and starting again the next day.
To be honest, that's like quite good, because few people, like quite a lot of people, would lean on things like pizza, alcohol,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
things that are just like endorphin rushes, just simple comforting things. And this is where I come in, where it's then trying to get people to lean on other things like exercising regularly, making sure that they're doing that, because that has been, there's so much research with that on how it can help you manage stress better. I'm sure you know this, Louise, as well, and how not only that, it can help like boost your cognitive function.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It can help manage stress levels. It's really powerful. And it's the same with meditation,
Mm-hmm.
and also just simply going out for a walk, like you just said, Nilton. And basically, it's just trying to make sure people remain on track when they get into those areas, and trying to get them to lean on other things and then holding them accountable to it. Because that's what people need me is, I can write them out the program of, this is what your perfect lifestyle should be for you to be a 110% human being. But the people that come to me need to be accountable to it. And when they feel like they are in certain times where stuff's getting difficult, I'm there to pick them up and be like, you've got this, crack on, and ensure that they remain on track.
Yeah. And I think that's what people need. They need somebody to be accountable to help to almost, in some ways, hold their hand and give them the professional advice that they need. So you did mention before that you also help with sleep. Is that right?
Yes, I do. 100% through simple lifestyle habits again. So not staring at screens long into the night, not eating certain foods and staying away from certain food groups really, really helps. And sleep is a very important thing for trading and for any professional. And if you have less than 1 hour, just 1 hour's sleep a night, it's proven that can dramatically affect your decision making. So it's a key pillar that we focus on with my coaching.
Good. Sleep is one of the most important things, I mean, generally we sort of sleep between 7 to 9 hours, sometimes more, sometimes less. It depends, doesn't it? But we spend so much time sleeping and in bed. It's important that we have that quality and quantity of sleep and that it's consistent. But it's not always the case, is it?
No. And with not all traders, but certain group of traders and with busy professionals for that matter, they pride themselves on working themselves to the bone late into the night and staring at screens long before they should be in bed. And it's really, really counterproductive.
So, Josh, what does a normal day look like for you then? In terms of your sleep, what time you go to bed, what do you do when you get up to prepare for a trading day? How does that look?
So for me, I'm quite busy with other projects. So my trading, I only stare at the screens for a couple of hours a day. But what my day looks like, so I have clients that I have to see here in Gibraltar early in the morning. So I'll wake up 6 a.m. I'll be training people in a gym for 3 hours. I will then come back and then I will eat. From there, I'll then go and look at the markets.
Any specific markets that you're trading at the moment?
Yeah, so literally, I'm boring. I just trade the pound against the dollar, Forex. Okay. That's all I do every day. With me, I like to keep things really, really simple, Milton, and I find it a lot simpler for me and my trading style to just be looking at one market, understand the way that moves, have a really simple strategy that I have to look out for to minimize the stress of the psychology of it all.
Yeah.
So I literally just make sure I'm in front of my laptop for the London Open and I make sure I'm in front of my laptop for the New York Open. Done.
Okay. And that's your day then?
Yeah, done. But around that, I'm very lucky as I live and breathe lifestyle habits, training, nutrition. So I'm preparing meals for myself. I'm not having to buy meals or anything. I train for about an hour and a half a day. I walk regularly, nearly every day, while listening to books and stuff like that. Yep. So I'm quite lucky, really, because I've got a very flexible lifestyle because of my job.
Yeah.
And it's not like that for everybody.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. I was going to say about that.
So I don't try and model my lifestyle to other people because other people have it a lot more stressful. They work a lot longer hours. So everybody's unique in that sense.
Yeah. I mean, for me, and we've spoken about this before.
Yeah.
It's just preparing meals. I just find it, a chore. I don't know what to cook, and especially when you're busy or you've had a busy day at work and you're coming back and doing some trades, whatever. Finding time to actually prepare like a healthy meal that will help you sustain, being at the computer and having full concentration. Yeah, that's where my struggle would come in, and I'm probably speaking for a lot of people, that are busy. How would you deal with someone like that? Well, I mean,
you're speaking for me, by the way, as well, Nilton. So,
okay,
and hopefully a lot of people. So this would be good to find out what you do, Josh.
Yeah. So, Nilton, how many hours do you work a day?
Full 8 hours.
And then you trade at the end of the day?
Yeah, maybe in the morning I'll set up the trades and then do some trades when I get home.
Yeah. Okay. So what I would recommend, mate, is do you work from home or do you work in an office?
Yes, at the moment. Yeah, at the moment.
Okay. So based on you working from home, mate, I would recommend just waking up an hour earlier if it's not detrimental to the amount of sleep that you're having.
Okay.
Wake up in that hour. Don't stare at any screens. Don't just jump straight into emails and stuff like that. Just have 10 minutes of just quietness, almost like meditating, where you can just sit there and you can just gather your thoughts for the day and you can then motivate yourself to get out of bed. I'd recommend just waking up an hour earlier, sitting up in your bed and just having 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes of just stillness, meditating, thinking about what you want. And then once you've done that, then start thinking about what you need to do next. And what I would recommend, do you exercise at all?
Yeah, I go to the gym quite frequently. So, I've got that covered. For me, it's just my culinary skills.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then what I'd recommend, mate, I'd get up and cook yourself just a cooked breakfast with whatever it is that you enjoy to eat, like eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe make an omelette or something like that. It'll take 5 minutes of your time.
Hmm.
Eat that. You are working from home. So what you could do, say at the beginning of the week, you could prepare some lean protein. Okay. Cook it on bulk. Some lean protein that then you can just pull out your fridge and you've got it there, and fill your fridge full of fresh vegetables, being whatever it is to your taste. Okay.
Yeah.
Then focus on eating really simply. So you just educate yourself on a few simple dishes where you can put together really easily with a few spices and a few herbs and some vegetables, and you can chuck this together. I do have like cookbooks and stuff which then can spell it out for you a lot more, but
Okay.
there are so many things that you can prepare, mate, in seconds. And if you can give yourself 10 minutes to be able to prepare that, and then have half an hour of your own time to eat that, and then have many different snacks available that then you can just grab. So fruit, Greek yogurt, and anything that's high protein.
What does that do for you? I mean, having high protein in terms of brain functionality, does it contribute massively or?
Protein doesn't. It's an essential macronutrient that you need, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
something that a lot of people don't eat enough of. And what people put too much emphasis on is eating carbohydrates, thinking carbohydrates is what they need to be sustaining them throughout the day continuously.
Yeah.
But I am from a bit of a different camp. Yes, carbohydrates do convert into sugar in your blood, which then is your body's preferred source of energy. But if you are sedentary and you are sat at a desk all day, you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck by eating higher fibrous vegetables, higher in micronutrients, than you are by eating lots of rice, lots of potato, and lots of bread. And what you find that happens when you do eat a lot of these starchy carbohydrates throughout the day, you're very up and down. Have you ever had that feeling when you eat quite a carby meal at lunchtime and then by like 2 o'clock you feel like you need to go to bed?
Yeah, always.
Quite often.
Yeah. That is your blood sugar levels spiking and then dropping again. So then you get that like crash.
Mm.
I'm not somebody who is sat here going like zero carbohydrate is the way to go. It's different for many people depending on what their daily activity is. But for you, if you're working from home and you're quite sedentary, apart from when you work out, have vegetables and salad stuff, Nilton, just in your fridge, easy
Yeah.
to prepare. Like things that you can just chop up and chuck in a pan with some like spices and stuff like that. And then you can have it with some lean meats or fish or whatever that you want. That's easy to prepare and
Yeah.
Yeah.
takes you 10 minutes.
So Josh, sorry, as we coming into, most of us are coming into the winter months, autumn, winter. I think for most people, we kind of tend to go for the more carbs and
Yeah.
sugar, perhaps. I mean, how do you sort of work with clients? I mean, do you work with clients specifically around seasons and seasonal changes and things like that? Or does it just depend?
Yes, and it does depend quite a bit. Carbohydrates, right, are not bad. So eating them in the evening is really beneficial because this is generally like the framework that I lean on towards everybody who is working from home and doesn't do a lot of activity throughout the day. So it's eating high fibrous, high protein foods throughout the day with plenty of quality fats. And then when the evening comes, eating good quality carbohydrates and decent protein and fat in your evening meals is perfect, because what that then does to you is it's going to satiate you. Your blood sugar levels are going to rise and you are going to get that comforting feeling. And what that does, Louise, is it helps you sleep better.
Okay, interesting. That's very good information.
So it's about eating the right foods at the right times is the way to do it. Instead of getting it backwards, where then you'll find some people generally lean on carbs all day, and then they're very up and down all day. If you can minimize them and maximize the hours that you really want your brain to be firing, if you can, in those hours, maximize the quality nutrition that you're eating and minimizing the effect on your energy levels it's going to have, then when you get to the evening and you eat more carbohydrates dense foods, your body is more sensitive to carbohydrates. So then that comforting feeling, you feel that a lot more. So then you can then relax a lot better in the evening if you are somebody who struggles with sleep and stuff related to that.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Well, I think, with Christmas coming around the corner, my guilty pleasure is mince pies, so I'm going to have to get...
I'll tell you what, Nilton, I love a mince pie too.
Mate, I can go through at least 2 packets of them. So
I know what to buy you for Christmas now, Nilton.
Yeah, I mean, my mum's coming over for Christmas as well. She's already said to me, she'll bring us a couple of packets. But, I'm going to be trying to work with Josh. So I'm going to have to tell her, no, I'll be bringing them over. So
yeah. But listen, guys, everybody's different. With my line of work, everybody's different. So it's not one size fits all. Here you go. Here's the program. Run with it. Everybody approaches their lifestyles differently. And it's about pointing them in the right direction with food groups. Some people are overweight. Some people need to lose weight too, and it's ensuring that they're eating the right amount of food for somebody who maybe doesn't exercise, doesn't leave the office and has extremely long hours. It's about trying to manage activity level for these people and stress management. So it's not all one size fits all with this business.
Yeah, I think it's very underestimated. I think people don't look at it as much. And, when Louise sort of introduced me to you, Josh, I was, straight away, I was like, wow, that's very interesting, very niche.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to working with you and hopefully.
Oh, mate, I'm looking forward to it too. It's going to be good.
Looking forward to
seeing
we do
it after Christmas?
6-pack, Nilton?
Maybe. But it'll have to be after Christmas. Let me get the mince pies done and then we can go.
Guys, can I just jump in on something? Because when I was in the process of learning about all this sort of stuff, I really wanted to get the science behind it. And there is so many things that you can focus on to improve your performance in front of the screen and also your life away from it as well. And as well as focusing on stuff like that, I even simple things like improving people's posture. The science behind improving people's posture is crazy. Have you ever done any reading into that at all, Louise?
I have actually, yes. I mean, I actually use something myself when I'm sitting down in front of the screen working with clients or I'm working in front of the laptop. I actually use something myself that sort of wraps around my shoulders where it gives me the right posture. But I have read a lot recently that, posture is such a big thing. A lot of people are working or have been working from home. So it's really important, I think, that you've got the right posture because, as you know more than anyone, it can cause so many different problems, backache.
Yeah, but even down to your thoughts. With posture, when you see people who have terrible posture, you'll generally find that they're not very confident as well. And there is a big link between your posture and confidence in your decision making. So focusing on helping people who do have bad posture is a critical thing that I work with as well, because it's not only down to just the structure of your bones. Because we come from cavemen in the animal kingdom, I'm going to just go off track here, guys. Sorry about this.
It's okay.
Just because in the animal kingdom, it's all about who's the strongest. and the strongest survive and stuff like that. And we have a little bit of that still in us as humans. And you'll generally find that people who have a very wide, tall stance are people who have excellent decision-making skills. People listen to them. They're confident within their own thoughts. And this translates to how you talk to yourself as well without even realizing. So I get people to do power poses, and it obviously exercises to help them, but getting people to do power poses and stuff like that when they're in moments of feeling acute stress.
Right.
And the science shows that if you do these power poses for as long as 30 seconds, you can actually change the hormone balance within your body. Can you believe that?
Fantastic.
Wow.
Josh, do you have anything online? Do you have any videos or YouTube channel where you are showing or teaching this power posture?
Yes, I do. So if you get me on LinkedIn, you'd be able to see, I think I've written an article on it.
Right. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll have a look at that.
So I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to anything that can just like maximize your productivity, maximize your confidence and your thoughts, but all under the umbrella of health and exercise and habits.
Okay, so one of the things that I do teach some clients is breathing techniques. You know, when we've got high levels of stress or anxiety, one of the most powerful things that we can use is our breath to help us to get back into that space of calm, peace, and kind of balance. Do you teach or do you use a breathing technique yourself?
Yeah. So with me, it's crazy this day and age. So I wear a watch that at various points in the day, it notifies me to just stop and take 10 deep breaths in at various points of the day. And it's really, really good, to be fair, because it always seems to catch me at the moment when I'm most manic doing 3 things at once as well. So it just recenters me. But when I felt acute stress, that's exactly what I do as well, Louise. And that's what I tell my clients to do as well, is to just stop and focus on the breath.
Absolutely, yeah. It's interesting. I've never heard of that before. The watch, where you just have it on your wrist, and it sort of gives you a little shake to say, take 10 deep breaths. But I think the day and age that we live in, it's something that probably works well for people. It gives us kind of that reminder. Actually, we need to take a step back away from the screen or what we're doing or the markets, and just focus on our breath and bring ourselves back into balance.
100%, yeah. Get yourself feeling grounded again and thinking clearly.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Cool. We're at the end now of the show. Josh, I just want to say what you're doing is amazing, mate. Really looking forward to working with you. And
thank you, mate. Thank you guys for having me on.
Thank
you
very
problem at
much,
all.
Josh.
For anyone listening to the podcast, Josh, you can hit him up on the Traders Health Coach at gmail.com. You don't have a website set up at the moment, do you?
No, this is a relatively new project. So where you can get me and where I'm most active is on LinkedIn. So Josh Abernethie on LinkedIn is where all of my business communications is with the Traders Health Coach.
Okay. We'll share the links in the description on the different platforms anyway for you, Josh. But what you're doing is fantastic. And I think many, many traders will benefit from your services, and sounds fantastic.
Guys, thank you so much for having me on.
No problem.
It's been brilliant catching up with you guys. It really has.
Thank you.
Cheers, Josh.
Hello. I just wanted to share some exciting news today. I am the creator and founder of the Trading Mindset Program. This program is changing the lives for many, many traders. It is a 24-week online course working on every aspect of trading psychology. And so I am excited to share today that one of the transformational audios is absolutely free for traders. And it helps to gain emotional control when trading. This audio is worth £125, and today it is yours for free. So please click on the link below to access your audio.